Good morning, Tiffany. Hello, everybody. I am Erika Lamb, and I am the 2020 president of the Reno Sparks Association Realtors. And I have with me today Miss Tiffany Banks. She is the chief legal counsel for Nevada Realtors. And Tiffany is going to help us to better understand the governor's recent orders and how that applies to us realtors. So thank you, Tiffany, for being here. And it's so awesome for you to take the time to just explain to us how we can continue to work in this current environment. So
good morning. Good to
good
see
morning. So I guess a really big question I keep having people ask us is, can I still hold an open house in a property where the seller lives if they want me to market my property that way?
Good question. So, the guidance that we've been sharing with our members regarding open houses, even over the last few weeks, has been to really proceed with caution. So, as you know, right now we're going through unprecedented times. And so, as such, we felt that it's really important to really proceed with caution even before this governor's directive. So, our position right now is the Nevada Realtors does not support any open house activity at this time. As of right now, the governor has made it clear that he wants to limit as much in-person activity right now as possible. So while you as a realtor are still deemed an essential service, how you conduct yourself at this time could potentially impact that designation in the coming weeks and months. And so the governor has stated time and time again, stay home for Nevada, and that is to limit the amount of people that come in contact with one another at any given time. So any open house activity right now would be taking an unnecessary risk.
Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, under this directive, can a tenant refuse to allow in-person showings of a property they are residing in? And does this only apply to tenant-occupied properties?
So yes. So the directive regarding in-person showings only applies to properties where tenants are residing. So this means for the duration that the directive is in effect, in-person showings are impermissible where tenants are residing. And I know I've gotten the question recently, what if the tenant allows me to? What if they offer? And the goal, and again, we're doing this so in-person showings are not stripped entirely. So right now you can still do in-person showings, and I'm sure we'll get to that if it's not tenant occupied. But we're really saying just don't do them. Even if the tenant is saying, I would love for you to show the property while I'm in it, don't do it. The directive says don't do it, so stay away from it, even if they allow it.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Another question I've had is, can the tenant agree to take pictures of the property and send to the seller for a virtual tour?
So yes, absolutely. And that's why we are highly encouraging these types of this like new founded relationship almost. So we would say absolutely, if the tenant agrees, now remember you can't force or coerce them to take pictures or videos, but if they agree to take pictures, videos, allow you other virtual access, send to the property owner, the realtor then can create a virtual tour that can be used to market the property. Yes, this is, unprecedented times and this is new, but you are still allowed to market the property in that way.
Okay. And now, what happens if a seller wants to market a property they live in? Can a realtor schedule a one-on-one showing for that property?
So yes. So one-on-one showings are still allowed under the governor's order as long as it is not occupied by a tenant. So remember that realtors engaged in real estate sales during the state of emergency shall adopt precautionary measures and COVID-19 risk mitigation practices to minimize the risk of spread of the disease and are encouraged to avoid in-person transactions and services to the extent practicable. So make those appointments. And you know what? Sometimes what I'm hearing is they're saying if you go in to a house, don't touch the surfaces, wear a mask, like make sure that you're actually, when you are showing it, do everything in your power to make sure it's safe. We're all about COVID-19 risk mitigation right now, so it's still allowed, but just be super cautious.
Okay, thank you. And those are all great tips. We keep trying to encourage that as well. So now, what happens if a seller needs to do like a home inspection, an appraisal, or requires repairs on a tenant-occupied property? Can a tenant refuse to allow access in those situations?
So this has been a lot of the questions we've been getting the last couple of days, so I appreciate you touching on it. So the answer would be, like we've said with everything else, if it's not spelled out, we really, really, really have to proceed with caution. I got from a broker yesterday a breakdown of how many properties, and don't quote me on this, but they did a search in Northern Nevada Regional MLS, how many properties were tenant occupied for sale, seller occupied, vacant, etc. And it actually seemed like a smaller percentage of properties were tenant occupied. So what I'm about to say is we want to keep the market open for as many people as possible. So how we're acting now, the behaviors that we're exhibiting now are really going to affect if real estate professionals are that essential services like stripped away. So it wasn't addressed in the directive, it wasn't addressed in the order, but I would say that for appraisals and inspections, if the tenant agrees to allow access and it's very limited and all CDC guidelines are followed and all the necessary COVID-19 risk mitigation processes are in place, I would say yes. If not, I would say at this point, escrow may have to be extended, parties may have to agree on something. So even though the order specifically talks about showings, the goal from what we understand the governor is nobody should be in the house. And so in tenant occupied homes, this might be trickier. So we'd say work with the tenant. Please, please, please work with the tenant. Now, if you just want to do periodic inspections for a renewal as a property manager, let's kind of switch gears now on a property manager. A lot of property managers have said, no periodic inspections on tenant occupied homes unless there's a serious health concern such as mold. And so I think that's kind of the trend that we're going to now for habitability. What if you need to get into the property? Again, work with the tenant. If there's an HVAC, heat, water related issue, stove, roof, security, and you need to get in, work with the tenant. Make sure that you follow all the guidelines. I'm just saying now, be super, super cautious. Even if these things aren't spelled out in the directive, they may very well be spelled out soon.
Right. Understand. Yeah, because even though it's not limited now, if somebody makes a complaint to the state, it could be.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. Well, and so it appeared that the restrictions applied only to tenant-occupied homes that are listed on the market for sale. So what if, and you kind of just covered this, so basically if an owner wants to do inspections or repairs or maybe even an appraisal on a tenant-occupied home that's not listed on the market for sale, basically what you're saying is just work with that tenant as much as possible or don't do it.
Yes. Exactly. And I know these are tough times, and deals that are in escrow and there needs to be an inspection if the tenant won't let you in. It's one of those things you just have to really work through with your client at this point, and hopefully in those cases tenants are working with the you know, working with the owner and working with the listing agent to really just get the transaction closed.
Yeah,
Now, another consideration is how do you, and this is what we've actually discussed a lot, what happens if a tenant stays in the property after and they're supposed to leave? And I think the goal right now, and the courts would probably agree from my understanding with them, the goal right now is to keep everybody in place.
yeah,
So if you're supposed to move into the home and the tenant doesn't have another place to go, it might be difficult to get in front of a judge to get them out. So I think
right.
that really let's do our part. Let's work the absolute best we can with the tenants. Let's really inform our clients that these are not easy times. If you're managing these properties, you know, talk to your owners about, and this is a topic for another day, but talk to your owners about the eviction moratorium and what that means for rent that it's expected, what that means for payment plans after. So it's kind of a lot of let's talk and communicate and get through this. That's what
Yeah.
we're really encouraging right now.
And the stimulus bill actually has more restrictions than the eviction moratorium does because it extends the evictions and removes the ability for notices to vacate for 120 days.
Yeah.
Um,
So the courts, and so in our discussion with the Nevada courts and the judges in Nevada, it's going to be tricky to figure out what homes actually fall under that category compared
yeah,
to the, you know, Nevada law. So we're going to have to see what happens, and we're in close contact with them, just trying to understand when everything opens back up, how the courts are going to be running. Is it business as usual? How your business is going to be running? And again, we hope this lasts only a couple more weeks, but we don't know if this could be an extended period of time.
understand. Tiffany, that's all of our questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much for helping to clarify so much confusion that everybody's had the last couple of days. And
Awesome.
thank you so much for everything that you and the Nevada Realtors are doing on behalf of us. We feel so protected and well taken care of, and just thank you.
You're welcome. And
All
thank you,
right.
Erika. Okay. Have a great
Okay.
day.
You too. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.